Attention! You are about to enter the definitive manual of power, the guide that the elite studies in secret and the world pretends to condemn. This is not a book about how princes should rule, but about how they rule in brutal reality. If you are looking for fantasies or moral sermons, turn off this video now. If you seek the raw truth to conquer and retain, keep listening. This knowledge was condensed by Niccolò Machiavelli after long experience in modern affairs and a relentless study of the ancient ones. The prince was a gift, an offering to the magnificent Lorenzo de' Medici, not adorned with grandiose words, but supported by the sheer gravity of its subject, the governance of princes. Machiavelli does not speak from the summit, but from the plain. Only the people know the nature of princes. All dominions that have held sovereignty are either republics or principalities. But here, we focus on principalities. Hereditary principalities are the easiest. It is enough not to disturb the established order, and a prince, if of average intelligence, will maintain his state. The memories of conquest are erased by the antiquity and continuity of the dynasty. The real difficulty lies in new or mixed principalities. Human nature is fickle. Men gladly change their master, believing they will improve, only to discover later that they have worsened. To maintain a mixed state, one added to a previous one, the conqueror must face a brutal necessity, the offense. He offends his new subjects with troops and the 1,000 injuries that conquest brings with it. How are these new states held? 1. By residing in them, as the Turk did in Greece. This way, disorders are seen in time and can be suppressed promptly. 2. By establishing colonies, a cheap, loyal, and secure measure. Only a minimal part is harmed, those from whom lands and houses are taken, and being poor and scattered, they never pose a danger. Machiavelli gives us the golden rule, the one every conqueror must engrave in fire. Men must either be won over or eliminated. Minor offenses provoke revenge, grave ones do not. The offense must be of such a magnitude that it is impossible for them to avenge themselves. Powers acquired by one's own arms, or by those of others, by luck, or by virtue. But those who come to the principality by their own arms and personal talent, virtue, acquire the principality with difficulty, but they hold it without trouble. Observe the great founders: Moses, Cyrus, Romulus. To them, fortune only provided the occasion. Their virtue gave the convenient form to that material. Cyrus took advantage of the discontent of the Persians. Moses, the slavery of Israel. The greatest difficulty for these innovators is introducing new laws. The innovator earns the enmity of those who benefited from the old laws and the lukewarm friendship of those who would benefit from the new. For men do not believe in the new until they see its fruits. Therefore, if you want to succeed, you must be an armed prophet. The unarmed, like Savonarola, fail as soon as people stop believing in them. Now, observe the opposite. Those who come to power by luck and the arms of others, fortune. They achieve it with little effort, but can only maintain it with a great deal. They are like plants that grow too fast. They have no roots or supports to defend them from adverse weather. The supreme example of failure by fortune is Cesare Borgia. He acquired the state with his father's fortune, Alexander VI, and with it he lost it, despite having acted with extreme prudence. Borgia, finding himself dependent on auxiliary and mercenary troops, resorted to cunning. He eliminated his internal enemies, the Orsini and Vitelli, by luring and killing them in Sinigaglia, and pacified the Romagna with a severe government, using Ramiro de Orco, and then eliminating him to divert the popular hatred towards the minister. Borgia did everything right, but a dual factor ruined him: his illness and the brevity of Alexander's life. The art of war must be the prince's only object and thought. Whoever forgets it loses the state, like the sons of Francesco Sforza. As for morality, you do not have to possess all the virtues, but it is essential that you appear to possess them. Why? Because a man who wishes to make a profession of goodness will inevitably be ruined among so many who are not good. On the use of money, prodigality, being lavish, forces you to impose excessive taxes and makes you odious and poor, which makes you despicable. It is better to be content with a reputation for being a miser. Generosity should be exercised only with what belongs to others. Booty, pillage, and contributions from the enemy. Squandering what is not yours grants you reputation. Spending your own takes it away. On cruelty and clemency. A prince should not worry about being accused of cruelty if it keeps his subjects united and loyal. A few exemplary punishments are more merciful than allowing disorders to multiply, causing massacres and looting among the entire population. We arrive at the eternal question: is it better to be loved than feared, or feared than loved? Since it is difficult to be both, it is much safer to be feared than loved. Men are ungrateful, fickle, simulators, and greedy for profit. Love is a bond they break when it suits them. Fear is a dread of punishment that is never lost. But you must avoid hatred. How? Refrain from seizing the property and the women of your subjects. Men forget the death of their fathers sooner than the loss of their inheritance. Regarding promises, a prince must know that there are two ways to fight: with laws, proper to man, and with force, proper to the beast. Therefore, a prince must be a fox and a lion. The lion cannot defend himself from traps. The fox cannot defend himself from wolves. A prudent prince should not keep his sworn faith when it goes against his interests, because men are wicked and would not keep their faith with you either. You must be skilled in feigning and dissimulating. Troops are one's own: mercenary, auxiliary, or mixed. Mercenaries and auxiliaries are useless and dangerous. Mercenaries' only love and reason to fight is their pay, and in the face of war, they flee or desert. The prince who relies on them will never be safe or secure. If auxiliary troops, those requested from a powerful prince, win, you become their prisoner. Without one's own militia, no principality is secure. A prudent prince always prefers to lose with his own forces than to win with the arms of others, because it is no true victory that is obtained with the arms of another. Regarding counselors, the first opinion one has of a prince's judgment is based on the men who surround him. One must flee from flatterers who abound in all courts. The only way to avoid them is by making it understood that they do not offend by telling the truth. But if everyone tells the truth, respect is lost. A prudent prince should surround himself with men of good judgment, to whom he will give the freedom to tell him the truth, but only when they are questioned. He should listen patiently, and then resolve for himself and at his own discretion. Good advice must be born from the prince's prudence, and not the prince's prudence from good advice. To be esteemed, a prince must undertake great enterprises and set an example of rare virtues. The example is Ferdinand of Aragon, who always planned and carried out extraordinary feats, keeping his subjects' minds occupied with the success of his adventures and giving them no time to plot anything against him. He must also show himself to be a true friend or a true enemy, openly declaring for one and against another, as neutrality is always less convenient. The irresolute prince who seeks neutrality to avoid dangers most often fails. Regarding fortune, Machiavelli admits that it governs half of our actions, but it lets us govern the other half. Fortune is like a raging river, unavoidable, but in times of calm, dikes and defenses can be built to contain its fury. And here comes the final blow. Fortune is a woman, and to keep her submissive, it is necessary to beat and mistreat her. She allows herself to be dominated more by the impetuous than by the cautious, and she is a friend of the young who are less prudent and more audacious. Italy, in Machiavelli's time, was in the utmost desperation, enslaved, punished, plundered, without a leader or laws. The Italian princes lost their states through their own ineptitude, for having forgotten the art of war, and for not having their people as friends, or not having secured the nobles. The path is clear. If you want to acquire glory, you must take up this just cause and surround yourself with your own arms, with soldiers who are faithful, sincere, and better. Machiavelli ends with a powerful call to arms. Let your illustrious house, then, take up this cause with the ardor and hope with which just causes are embraced. The ancient valor in Italian hearts is not dead. The definitive lesson of The Prince is this: the opportunity is laid out. The material is malleable. Only the virtue to give it form is lacking. If you do not want to fall into ruin, if you wish to ascend to greatness, action must be your only law. Do not remain on the plain. Do not be an unarmed prophet. Make your virtue and your strength such that, if fortune changes, it finds you prepared to resist it. The time is now. Apply these precepts and forge your destiny. Subscribe, comment below if you are ready to conquer, and share this manual of power with those who truly need it.